quiet my soul, 'cause you're teaching me how to slow down.
Good morning, River House. Pastor Jordan here. We are going to talk about the sixth daily practice of building our rhythm of life this morning. But before we do, I want to remind you that the tempo of this rhythm, the tempo of the unforced rhythm of God's grace, both in a quarantine season and outside of a quarantine season, is slow down. Be still and know that I am God. I want to exhort you to slow down, to think more slowly, to speak slower, to act slower, to do slower, to slow down. Get in step with the Spirit so you can catch up with God. The tempo is to slow down. With God, fast is slow and slow is fast. So let's slow down and get with God. The daily practice for today is generosity. I want to challenge you to make generosity a daily part of your life. I'm going to read out of 1 Timothy 6, verse 17 through 19. It says, "Instruct those who are rich in this present world not to be conceited or to fix their hope on the uncertainty of riches, but on God, who richly supplies us with all things to enjoy. Instruct them to do good, to be rich in good works, to be generous and ready to share, storing up for themselves the treasure of a good foundation for the future, so that they may take hold of that which is life indeed." This is powerful language that Paul is writing to Timothy, and I believe it's very pertinent to times like these. To not focus on the uncertainty of riches, but instead to enjoy the provision that we've been given. And how are we to enjoy it? By being generous. God has given us, He's lavished us with goodness for the sake of generosity, so that we can do good, be a blessing, and be generous with that which we've been given. Right? In times like these, it's easy to focus on everything that we don't have. And it's funny, particularly even in things like the stock market or any market, right? You don't actually lose anything until you sell, but it's that sense that we saw a higher and then we have a lower number. And sometimes it's an actual loss, if it's more of a different type of an asset. But the truth is, even when we lose, what we're focusing on is the lack. We're focusing on the difference. We're focusing on the negative instead of focusing on, yes, but you've still given me this. You've still lavished my life with goodness. I still have more than I could ever need. I have so much beyond even my basic essentials and necessities. I have breath in my lungs. I have clothes on my body. I have a car that I can drive. I have a house, right? This is what Thanksgiving, as we talked about earlier, this is what Thanksgiving trains us to recognize, that God is constantly giving good to us. Right? But when we start focusing on the lack instead of the provision, it becomes all about us and our loss and our feelings, when the truth is the most powerful act that we can do any day of our lives is to be generous. God so loved that He gave. Generosity puts a face on the love of God to the world. And I want to exhort you to make generosity a daily act in your life. Right now, train yourself in quarantine. When we get out of quarantine, do it nonetheless. Be generous. Be generous with your money. Be generous with a word of encouragement, right? Put others before yourself and do something that is other-oriented. It is a powerful, creative act that actually shifts the atmosphere in both the receiver, and it's more blessed to give than it is receive. It changes your own internal atmosphere. So I want to challenge you today, no matter what financial situation you find yourself in, no matter, how much loss or difficulty or whatever it is that you're experiencing, we are all inconvenienced. We are all experiencing pain of some kind right now. Be generous. Make generosity some form, at least one act of generosity. I promise you, if you do it once, you will do more than one because it's contagious. So I just want to give you a warning. So I'm just going to call you every day, one act of generosity. Slow down, get with God and say, okay, what can I do? What action that I can do that is other oriented? How can I bless maybe a hurting business owner, a small business owner? How can I bless, someone, through a text message or a call, or just think about someone, like just do it. Try it. An intentional act of generosity, and you will see profound fruit come from it. It's guaranteed. God so loved, he gave. May we, as his people in these days and in all the days of our life, be known as people that so loved the world, they gave. I exhort you today, be a people of generosity, and I ask that God would give you creativity and wisdom to even spring up ideas day after day of what generosity looks like for you. God bless you, and we will see you next week.
'Cause you're teaching me how to slow